Just 0.32%. That's how much of the world's population lives in Australia. Yet somehow, this remote island continent, thousands of kilometers from just about everywhere else, has built one of the most powerful economies on Earth. It's the 13th largest economy globally, and Australians rank among the top 10 richest by GDP per capita. So, how on earth did a country with just 26 million people, a scorching desert at its center, and kangaroos outnumbering humans become an economic heavyweight? Let's break down how Australia, the lucky country, got so rich, and what makes it such an economic anomaly. The raw economy. Let's break down the numbers that really matter. In 2025, Australia's GDP clocks in at roughly 1.9 trillion USD, placing it just behind Brazil and comfortably ahead of South Korea. But here's the real kicker. When adjusted for purchasing power, Australia's GDP per capita soars close to 65,000 US dollars per person. That means Aussies out-earn citizens of France, the UK, and Canada on average. Australia ranks in the global top 10 for average income, boasting a high standard of living, free healthcare through Medicare, and strong social safety nets. Now, here's a wild fact. Around 90% of the Australian population is packed into just 3% of the entire landmass. The rest is vast outback, dense bushland, and untouched wilderness. And while most of that huge territory is unpopulated, it's packed with billions of dollars worth of natural resources that fuel the economy and global markets. Mineral powerhouse. Australia isn't just rich in landscapes, it's sitting on a literal treasure trove beneath its soil. It's the world's leading producer of lithium, the essential ingredient powering everything from your smartphone to electric cars like Teslas. As demand for electric vehicles skyrockets, Australia is right at the heart of this modern-day gold rush. But lithium is only the beginning. The country also dominates global markets in iron ore, coal, gold, bauxite, and even opals, the national gemstone. Australia is the top exporter of iron ore, a crucial material for construction and steel production, with China as its biggest buyer. In 2024, mining made up nearly 11% of Australia's GDP and accounted for more than 2/3 of all its exports. This mineral wealth doesn't just make Australia prosperous, it positions the nation as a key player powering industries and economies worldwide. Agricultural giant. Beyond rocks and minerals, Australia's enormous landmass also allows for vast farming. From wheat to wine, cattle to cotton, Australia is an agricultural juggernaut. Despite its harsh climate, it's one of the largest beef and sheep exporters in the world. In fact, only Brazil exports more beef. And for wool, Australia basically runs the global supply. Because the country spans tropical to temperate zones, it can grow an incredibly diverse range of crops. Fruits in the north, grains in the center, vineyards in the south. In total, agriculture accounts for 10% of Australia's exports, feeding not just Aussies, but millions abroad. Smart immigration. Australia's wealth isn't just dug from the ground, it's built by its people. What sets it apart? Its immigration strategy. Rather than simply opening the doors to everyone, Australia's system targets skilled professionals, doctors, engineers, IT workers, educators. When a shortage arises in any sector, the government adjusts visa rules to attract talent. It's one of the most selective and strategic systems in the world. As a result, over 30% of Australians are foreign-born, making it one of the most multicultural countries globally. And many of these newcomers are highly educated and well-prepared to contribute, meaning they don't strain the system, they strengthen it. Education and tourism. Australia isn't just about sun and surf, it's also a global leader in education. The country proudly hosts 8 universities ranked among the world's top 100, attracting bright minds from across the globe. Every year, hundreds of thousands of international students come to study down under, pumping more than $30 billion into the economy. To put that in perspective, this income surpasses what Australia earns from staples like wheat, wine, or wool. But it's not just brains Australia draws, it's also a dream destination for travelers. Iconic landmarks like the Great Barrier Reef, Sydney Opera House, and the sacred Uluru Rock Formation captivate millions. Add to that the stunning beaches and diverse wildlife, and it's no wonder Australia is a tourism hotspot. In 2019, before the pandemic shook the world, tourism generated over $45 billion in revenue, making Australia one of the top players in the global tourism industry. Though COVID caused a temporary slowdown, visitors are returning in full force. Tourism is bouncing back strong, creating jobs and fueling growth in towns and cities across the country. Whether it's for education or adventure, Australia continues to welcome the world with open arms. Real estate and foreign investment. Let's dive into the world of Australian real estate, a market famous for being one of the priciest on the planet. Take cities like Sydney and Melbourne. The average home price here has soared past the 1 million Australian dollar mark. To put that in perspective, that's more than 10 times what the average Australian earns in a year. So why are prices so sky high? It all comes down to a few key factors. First, there's limited land available for development in these major cities. Urban sprawl is tightly controlled, and geographic constraints like coastlines and national parks limit expansion. That means there's simply not enough new homes to meet the soaring demand. Then there's foreign investment. Wealthy buyers from countries such as China, Singapore, and the Middle East see Australian property as a secure, stable place to park their money. For them, real estate isn't just about owning a home. It's a way to protect wealth and diversify assets across the globe. This influx of foreign capital drives prices even higher, creating fierce competition in the market. For locals, it makes buying a first home increasingly difficult, sparking debates about housing affordability and social equity. But on the flip side, this foreign investment brings in significant tax revenues for the government, supporting public services and infrastructure projects. It also fuels construction, creating jobs and boosting the economy. So, while expensive housing in Australia has its downsides, it's also a complex ecosystem, balancing limited supply, high demand, and global money flows. It's a living example of how local markets are deeply connected to international finance in today's world. Peace, stability, and the Anglo model. Australia stands out as one of the few nations largely spared from the devastation of war and internal conflict. Its last significant military involvement on home soil was back during World War II. But even then, the fighting happened far from Australian cities. While Australia has taken part in global conflicts alongside allies, its own urban centers have remained untouched by destruction, and its economy has avoided the crippling blows many countries have suffered in war. This long stretch of peace, combined with solid democratic foundations and relatively low levels of corruption, has paved the way for Australia's steady growth and prosperity. At the heart of this success is what economists call the Anglo-Saxon economic model. This approach champions minimal government interference, robust free markets, and strong protection of property rights. It puts private enterprise front and center. Countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, and Canada share similar frameworks, fostering wealth and innovation. But Australia adds its own twist, pairing capitalism with a comprehensive social safety net, including programs like Medicare. This unique blend creates a balance where economic freedom meets social support, helping Australians enjoy both opportunity and security. The bottom line. So what's the secret behind Australia's wealth? Let's break it down. Rich in natural resources? Definitely. From lithium to iron ore and beyond, Australia's mineral wealth is a massive engine powering its economy. A steady flow of skilled immigrants? You bet. People from all over the world come here with talents and drive, fueling innovation and growth. Thriving education, exports, and tourism sectors? Absolutely. World-class universities attract hundreds of thousands of international students, while iconic landmarks and pristine nature draw millions of tourists each year. Political stability and free market policies? For sure. Australia's transparent government, rule of law, and strong trade relationships create a reliable environment for business and investment. Despite sitting far from major global hubs, Australia is deeply connected economically, proving that geography doesn't have to be a barrier to success. And what's even more impressive, Australia has managed to turn its relatively small population into one of the richest and most dynamic economies in the world. Smart strategies, a bit of good fortune, and yes, some truly valuable minerals have combined to build this powerhouse. So next time you think of Australia, remember it's not just about kangaroos and beaches. It's a vibrant economy with global impact. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you found this deep dive insightful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want more fascinating stories about geography, economics, and the hidden forces shaping our world, hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you in the next video. See you soon.